A suspicious iPad message, expensive jewelry my daughter couldn't afford, a secret date night, and a box of evidence in a storage unit led to me teaming up with a detective and secure justice. The most wholesome Uno reverse a father could plan. I was fast asleep at 3:00 a.m. when I woke up to the sound of my 15-year-old daughter giggling alone in her room. My mind immediately thought of boys, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. So the next morning I asked who she was on call with last night. "No one," she blurted. Her face went completely red, like she was angry at me for even just asking. That's when I knew she was hiding something. Over the next few weeks, she spent every weekend at her friend's house. But whenever I texted offering to pick her up, she would either decline or just not answer. And there were cracks in her stories. For example, she'd tell me she was going to Stacy's house. Then when she came home and I asked how it went, she'd say she had a great time with Sarah. And maybe in other circumstances, this would be okay. But she was in an all-girls school with only 2 friends, and I was best friends with the moms of these 2 friends, so it just didn't seem plausible. So from there, I started paying a little more attention. I could tell by the way she smiled in the evening whether or not she had told me the truth about where she had been. But then things took a turn. She was coming home with expensive gifts that no one in our neighborhood could have afforded to buy, and had started asking me if I would be okay with her moving out at 16. I tried everything to get her to talk. We spent more evenings together. I'd make up stories about other children and how I'd be okay if she ever did the same thing. How I loved her no matter what, but nothing worked. She'd just say, "I know, Dad," before going on her phone and ignoring me. But then came the night that changed everything. I was using the family iPad when I saw a chat had been deleted on iMessage. The profile picture was of a man who could have been 60. He was sending her kissy face emojis about how proud he was of his baby girl and how he couldn't wait to see her again. When my daughter Ava got home an hour later, I didn't waste any time. I showed her the texts and asked who Mike was, kept my tone neutral, not wanting her to feel like I was angry at her. "You don't know what you're talking about," was the only thing she said while she tried to stomp up to her room. I stopped her on the stairwell. "Ava, you know I love you, but I had to know these things. Is he your boyfriend? Have you guys kissed? What's going on?" She demanded that I give her privacy and ran into her room before locking the door. I buried my face in my hands. Was it too late? Had I failed at being a father? That night I called in sick to work because the next morning, as soon as Ava left for school, I did something I'll never forgive myself for. I walked over to the sheriff's department as soon as they opened. I brought the iPad and showed them all the texts. I wasn't too good with technology, but they didn't have that problem. They discovered dozens of comments he had left under my daughter's Instagram pictures, with one even saying how mature and beautiful she looked. And from digging deeper into the cloud, they found that Ava had been calling him almost every night. He'd even sent her almost $400 to her checking account under an alias name. I could see the officer's face turning more and more contorted, and by the time he was finished, he was just as angry as me. He told me they had his location, and he was going to drive there. He even let me come with him. When we got there, my daughter was sitting right beside him. The cops wasted no time in arresting him and driving him to the station. "Dad, what are you doing?" my daughter yelled, but I ignored her, or tried to at least, because that's when she screamed even louder. "Dad, this is an anxiety support group." I looked around and saw a bunch of girls that were Ava's age sitting in chairs. "Mike is the leader, Dad." I froze. She had never even told me she was struggling. I promised to clear things up with the officer, but when I told him what was really going on, he didn't believe me. It might seem that way, sir, but those Instagram comments told me otherwise. It's like he was dead set on arresting him for no reason. And I guess word spread fast because Ava became the topic of conversation in her high school and the neighborhood as a whole. She was spending all her spare time locked in her bedroom, barely eating.